response, did the police at any time lose control over certain areas, then have to reclaim control?
Well, absolutely, Evan. We had a very, very large group of people that were engaged in, first of all, a lawful peaceful protest, mostly members of our labor movement going across Queen Street. But a large segment of that protest were not, in fact, members of a lawful peaceful protest. They were part of a mob, and they engaged in what we refer to as black bloc tactics of violence and destruction. They attempted to penetrate the perimeter of our security down towards the summit site, and when they were stopped there, they broke into several groups, and some of them moved up northern into our city, along Queen Street, over to Yonge Street and north on Queen, and it did take us some time to move our resources, because, frankly, these are tactics employed by this particular group to draw public order police resources away from the perimeter so that they might affect their greater purpose of penetrating that perimeter. And so it did take some time to move police resources up there, and unfortunately that's when much of the destruction, some windows were broken along Queen Street West and up Yonge Street as far as Carlton Street.
Last question, do you expect anything tonight? Now darkness falling, what do you expect? You said you've apprehended some of the leaders. Do you expect the action to continue into the night?
Yeah, I'm very strongly of the belief that members of this group will continue to engage in criminal acts and to attempt to continue to probe the security of the summit site. We will maintain that security, and we are now actively pursuing those individuals who've been involved in criminality today. One of the great challenges that we are facing tonight is again, our streets are also filled with people who are not intent on criminality, but they are the curious, and they are all sort of mobbed in and around these guys, and it frankly gives the opportunity to the anarchists and those engaged in criminality to avoid detection, and it has become a bit of a challenge for our officers. But we have been communicating with those crowds, and we are asking people to disperse from those areas so that we might be able to restore order. While we are doing this, the police remain committed to the rule of law, and we are endeavoring to respect the rights of all of our citizens of lawful, peaceful assembly while dealing with criminals who are smashing windows and assaulting people and burning cars.
Toronto Star. Yeah, can you tell me, can you clarify the 75 members? Is that total people arrested, or are those people who are leaders of black bloc type groups?
No, that's 75 people who have been apprehended this evening. I do not have the particulars of any charges they may face. We've gone up into those areas. We've asked people to leave. We've issued various warnings to the crowd, and there are individuals in that crowd who have been engaged in violent protest, and they are being apprehended as we speak. And before I came here, the number that I was given was 75 persons this evening who have been apprehended and are now in our processing center.
And where was the tear gas deployed, and what prompted it, considering there was all sorts of things happening across the city? Why that particular place?
It was deployed, as I understand it, in the area, I believe, of Queen and Peter, and it was because there was a very large group there engaged in acts of destruction at that site. The police on scene believed that group was now, frankly, beginning to riot rather tumultuously, and the tear gas was deployed after a warning in an effort to disperse that crowd.
And Evan asked about tonight. Is tomorrow expected to be calm? A lot of people said Saturday's the day.
Well, Saturday certainly has proven to be a difficult day, but I do not believe that the individuals bent on vandalism and violence in our city are finished with their intent. And so we will remain vigilant. We'll be out on the streets all night and all day tomorrow in sufficient numbers to deal with these individuals. It remains a challenge to us, but we're working very hard on it. And frankly, I got a lot of people out there, and none of them are going home. We've got work to do.
Just one more number question. How many police cars burned?
I witnessed 2, but I understand 3 of them have been are basically write-offs. I don't know whether all 3 of those cars were fired, but 2 of them definitely were.
Thank you.
Both of those cars, by the way, in the area of Queen and Peter.
Police Chief, can you say, are you actually shocked by the level of violence that we saw today?
I have to tell you, I think it was shocking to every citizen and everyone who witnessed the images that were being projected across our television screens. We have never seen that level of wanton criminality and vandalism and destruction on our streets. We had a lot of information about these various anarchist groups. Quite frankly, they were not reticent about declaring their intent to engage in violence, and we are not unfamiliar with what is sometimes called the black bloc tactic. Now I've heard a number of references in the media to this group of anarchists as the black bloc, but a black bloc is in fact a tactic of criminality in order to draw the resources of the police away. They have a stated purpose of penetrating the perimeter of the summit. We're not going to let that happen, but because they have not been successful in that purpose, I don't expect that they're going to quit.
And with the level of violence that we've seen, some people are asking why tear gas wasn't used more or why the sound cannons weren't used.
Well, the sound cannon is a communication device, and we use the device. I authorized its use, as had been prescribed by our courts for its use. It was used to communicate with persons in the crowd, and that was done so that we could provide them with information about what our intent was, again, to ask people to leave and to advise them if other use of force options were being used. One of the limitations of tear gas in the inner city is there are a number of residences and businesses located in the city, and we were concerned about the infiltration of that tear gas into their air intake systems. We have to protect first and foremost our citizens while we're also trying to deal with a mob.
Was the alert function on the sound cannons used?
I don't believe that was necessary. We had their attention when we communicated with them.
Paul J. from the Real News Network, right here in the center.
Oh.
Hi, Chief. On television this morning, before the black bloc tactic was used, the images on CNN and a lot of local television were what happened yesterday, and there were images of police officers hitting and kicking demonstrators, often when they were on the ground. And I have to say, one of our own journalists was punched in the face, and we have video footage of that. My question is, are you aware of the incident, and are you going to investigate it, and will there be some public explanation about why there was that type of confrontation and violence?
Fortunately, Paul, I'm very aware of the incident, and we were videotaping it as well. We videotaped all aspects of that. One of the things the media missed yesterday was a large cadre of black bloc dressed people in the center of that crowd. As it approached along College Street, they began to throw things at my officers. It was necessary for my people to put their helmets on, and it was also necessary for us to go into that crowd and arrest some of the people that were attacking them. All of that was videoed. Now, if your reporter wishes to make a complaint of any kind against the police, there's a proper format to do that, and I urge you either to contact us in writing and have them do that, or he can call the Office of the Independent Police Review and that complaint will be investigated. I'm not going to comment on.
No, I know you. I'm not asking you to, because I know you can't. But we will also make our footage available to you, because in our footage there's no view of any kind of black bloc tactic in that incident. We'll be happy to share it with you.
I have photographs of that, and actually they were taken right from the balcony outside my office. I'll be more than happy to share with that with you and all of the media, because, quite frankly, you missed that in your reporting yesterday.
Can I ask you just one follow-up question?
Sure.
On the legislation, the Public Works Security Act.
It's actually called the Public Works Protection Act.
Thank you. The Act allows, essentially, for elimination of probable cause for search and seizure.
That's not correct.
I can read it to you.
Yeah, by all means. I've actually read it at great length. It's an act that in fact, has been...
Chief Bill Blair speaking, saying that 75 people have been arrested tonight. Tear gas, he was confirming, was used at one point, and he says, quote, "It remains a challenge. No one is going home tonight." Here is a live look at Queen and Spadina, another new development. Let's go live to our Nathan Downer on scene. What's going on, Nathan?
The police line moved west towards Spadina, and the line